From the moment Noah stepped into the ark and the heavy wooden door closed behind him, the world outside had no idea that its final countdown had begun. For years, people laughed at the warnings. They ridiculed Noah as he built an impossibly large ship in the middle of dry land. They called him a madman, a fool, a fanatic. And yet, when the sun rose on that final morning, something in the air felt different. Stillness. A strange, heavy silence, as if creation itself was holding its breath. Inside the ark, Noah and his family waited. The animals, restless yet miraculously calm, shifted and murmured in the dim light. And then, the first drop fell. A single soft raindrop landed in the dust. People outside watched curiously. It was not unusual. But this rain felt different. Colder, heavier, relentless. Then the sky split open. The rain didn't just fall. It poured as if the heavens had been ripped wide and every ocean above the clouds crashed downward at once. Thunder roared across the sky, lightning tore through the clouds, and within minutes the ground became a swirling flood of mud and rising water. Those who mocked Noah now ran for shelter, but there was none. Water surged across fields, swallowed roads, overturned homes. Rivers burst their banks and became violent, unstoppable torrents. People climbed to rooftops, clinging to rafters, screaming for help. But the storm only grew louder. Inside the ark, Noah's family felt the first violent shudder as the ark lifted from the ground. The great vessel groaned, creaked, and then it rose. Outside, chaos ruled. Trees snapped like twigs under the waves. Animals fled instinctively from the rising waters, but were quickly overtaken. Families tried to reach the ark, pounding on its sealed walls, calling Noah's name. But Noah could not open the door. It had been shut, not by human hands, but by God himself. Days turned into nights with no distinction. The sky remained black, the earth drowned beneath the weight of judgment. The rain did not stop for 40 days and 40 nights. No hill was high enough, no mountain tall enough. Everything living outside the ark was swept away. Inside, Noah prayed. Not with triumph, not with joy, but with a sorrow that only a man who had witnessed the end of a world could understand. Because salvation always has a come, and when the waters finally reached their peak, only silence remained. A silent ocean stretching from horizon to horizon, where once entire civilizations had stood. But this is not where the story ends, because God was not finished yet. Among the endless waters, a single vessel carried the last beating hearts of the old world and the first hope of the new. As the rain finally ceased and the storm clouds slowly thinned, the ark drifted alone across a world that no longer resembled the earth it once was. No landmarks remained, no familiar hills or valleys. Nothing but a quiet, endless sea, an ocean of memory and judgment. Inside the ark, time lost its meaning. Days blended into nights and nights into days. The creaking of wood, the soft steps of animals, and the rhythmic crash of waves became the only sounds Noah's family heard. They tended the creatures, comforted the frightened, prayed for strength, and waited for a sign, any sign, that God still watched over them. Weeks passed, then months. Although the storm had ended, the waters remained deep and unbroken. Noah would climb to the small window above and look out each day, hoping, searching, but the horizon never changed. Not yet. Until one morning, the ark jolted, not violently, but with the unmistakable sensation of wood meeting something solid, a mountain. After 150 days adrift, the ark had finally come to rest on the mountains of Ararat. But the world was not ready yet. The waters were still too high, the land too soft, the surface too unstable. Noah could not open the doors, so he waited, patiently, faithfully. 40 more days passed. Then Noah released a raven. It flew back and forth, searching for land, but eventually disappeared into the distance. Next, Noah released a dove, gentle, hopeful, pure. But the dove found no place to rest and returned to him. Noah waited another 7 days. Then he released the dove again. This time, when it returned, it carried something small, something delicate, something powerful. An olive leaf, a symbol that the world was healing. Life had begun again. 7 more days passed. Noah released the dove once more, and it did not return. The message was clear. The earth was ready. When God finally spoke, his words echoed through Noah's soul. Leave the ark, you and your family. Release the animals. Let life fill the earth again. As the heavy door opened for the first time in over a year, sunlight poured in. Warm, brilliant, alive. The animals rushed out into the new world, shaking off the scent of the ark, scattering across fresh soil. And Noah stepped out onto a land cleansed, quiet, waiting for its first footsteps. The world had been reborn, but Noah's journey did not end with survival. His mission moved forward, to rebuild, to renew, to remember. And soon as he lifted his eyes to the sky, God would give him a sign, a promise stretched across the heavens, a reminder for every generation to come. But that belongs to the next chapter. When Noah stepped out of the ark, the world felt strangely silent, but not the silence of fear or judgment. It was the silence of a world reset, a world that had just taken its first breath after the storm of all storms. The air was crisp, untouched, carrying the scent of rain and new beginnings. The ground beneath Noah's feet was soft, damp, and full of promise. The sky, once black with wrath, was now clear, washed clean, stretching endlessly above him like a fresh canvas waiting for the first brushstroke of creation. The earth felt young again. Animals scattered joyfully across the landscape, deer leaping, birds rising into the sky, lions shaking water from their manes, doves circling above the ark that had sheltered them. Life was beginning its second chapter. But Noah did not rush forward. Before he built homes, before he planted fields, before he planned the future, Noah built an altar, and out of fear, not out of duty, but out of gratitude. Gratitude that he and his family had been preserved. Gratitude for the mercy that had carried them through judgment. Gratitude that even when the world was at its darkest, God had not forgotten his promises. Noah arranged stones, placed wood, and offered sacrifices with a trembling heart. The smoke rose slowly, curling upward into the brightening sky like a prayer made visible. And God received it, not with anger, not with disappointment, but with deep compassion. Then, for the first time since the beginning of the world, God spoke words not of warning, but of covenant. Never again will I destroy all life with a flood. It wasn't just a promise, it was a declaration that history would not repeat itself. That judgment would never again erase humanity in a single sweep of water. That even when human hearts grew weak, God's mercy would remain stronger. But God did not stop there. He chose to seal his promise with a sign. Not written on stone, not spoken in thunder, but painted across the very sky. A sign the whole world could see. A sign that children and elders, farmers and kings, animals and mankind could witness. A sign that would remind every generation of God's heart. As Noah and his family stood at the foot of the altar, the clouds overhead began to part. Light streamed through the sky in brilliant shafts. And then, the heavens lit up with color. A bow of radiant lights stretched across the sky from one horizon to the other. Red, gold, green, violet, each color glowing with an otherworldly brilliance. It was the first rainbow in human history. The rainbow arched over the new world like a bridge between heaven and earth, a divine signature on the canvas of creation. Noah's children gasped. Animals paused, looking upward, as if recognizing something sacred. The wind itself seemed to still. Then God spoke again, his voice gentle yet powerful enough to echo in the soul. This is the sign of the covenant between me and all living creatures. When I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears, I will remember my promise. Imagine that. The God who created galaxies, oceans, and the breath in every living being, choosing to remember not because he forgets, but to show humanity how deeply he cares. The rainbow was not placed in the sky for God's benefit. It was placed there for ours. So that whenever storm clouds rise, whenever thunder shakes the earth, whenever the sky darkens and fear whispers that judgment is coming again, Humanity can look up and see the colors of mercy. The flood had washed the old world away, but the rainbow announced the beginning of a new relationship. A relationship not built on fear, but on grace. Noah stood beneath the arch of colors with tears in his eyes. He had seen the world at its worst, and now he was witnessing God at his best. His children clung to him, their eyes reflecting hues of red and violet. They did not fully understand the depth of God's promise, but they felt its warmth wash over them like sunlight. And so the rebuilding began. Noah planted vineyards. His sons built homes. Animals migrated to every corner of the earth. Rivers found new paths. Forests began to grow again. The earth healed.